Shelbée, thank you for spending your evening with us and coming on and talking about yourself and your sport. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. And I just want to welcome you to the Wild Heart Athletics podcast. And I'd love for you to just introduce yourself to our listeners.
Oh, thank you for having me to start with. Absolute honour, especially from this side of the pond. Bit of a distance, but we'll be fine. So I'm Shelbée. I currently play for the England women's national team, playing football or soccer. I'm so sorry. So we play football. We're currently training at the moment quite hard for the first ever Women's World Cup coming up in Colombia in November. So, it's a bit of a wild ride, but I've been kind of around. I've played football my whole life, but I've only been an amputee 5 years. So it's like been still fairly new-ish to me. Playing football and playing amputee football is like, it's the same concept, but it's like a different sport. It's been a lot of learning curves, a lot of falling over, but we get back up and we carry on falling over. So it's fine.
I got you. That's a great way to explain it. Fall down, get back up, right? What's the famous saying? Fall down 7, get up 8.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious, what's kind of like in your opinion, what's the greatest aspect about football and amputee football? And then how's it really impacted your life overall?
I think football in general has such a huge impact. I think on anyone that becomes within football, whether that coach, player, parent, supporter, I think football is such a sport that brings so many people together. And, I class, disability sports as kind of a family thing. And that's across all disabilities, a lot of people that are within your same sport, but, you do get to reach out and meet really cool people that come from different sports, which makes it even more fun because then you get to try each other's sport, and then you kind of go from there and find out that you do new sports. Some of our England girls have never even kicked the ball, so it's quite impressive that they've got to where they are at the moment. So it's quite nice to see, some people that have never had any footballing background. We've got a couple of girls that hadn't even been to a live game, they hadn't even been to that. So, to go from that to, being World Cup ready within 6 months has been wild. But it's been an absolute joy on my behalf, seeing their love for the game build sort of thing. I'm one of 8 kids, so I was always around sport growing up and right in the middle. So there's 4 older boys, then there's 4 girls, and I'm the oldest girl. So I was always playing with the lads. So I think that's what has helped me put up enough of a fight when it comes to anyone that I come up against, it seems to be. It just football, and it sounds so cliche that, I say football saved my life. But, it gave me a reason to push. You go through cancer and you're like, well, you don't see the end of the tunnel sort of thing. You don't see that light, but until you kind of go through it and you go, actually, I'm not going to let this bring me down. I kind of made a joke out of everything, as I do now, even with my amputation. Everybody loves it because this is Bruce. His name is Bruce. He's awesome. He looks like a shark from the side-ish. So he's called Bruce. Everyone loves Bruce more than me, which is fine. I can deal with that. So he's quite well known in the amputee world, funnily enough, little Bruce. Like I say, it just brings us all together, and it's such a family sport. And like we say, when we had Sarah come over from the US to one of our camps, and it's like one of our own. And I think disability sport is that in general. You take people in, especially those that have a lot of the time when they're at home, if you don't have many amputees close to you, or just disabilities in general, you can feel very isolated. And I think being able to connect with other people about it, and something as simple as, or well, they're not simple, but phantom pains. My family's been there through every step, and I can explain as best I can about phantom pains. And it's not until I'm at football and they can actually fully grasp and go, oh no, actually I get it. And And it's been a huge, massive help for me because I've been able to go, you know, what's helped for you? Because my body's so messed up because, you know, don't do things easy, which is fine. I also like a bit of drama. But yeah, so it's kind of, even now I learn new things every day, you know, about being disabled. And I think it took a long time for me to kind of get my head in a place where I was like, okay, this is my new life. You know, I need to make the most of every hop that I can take. You know, I can't wear a prosthetic, but that's not stopped me going out and, you know, completing different challenges and completing high tree obstacle courses and all the fun stuff, of course, the stuff that puts everyone else on edge but makes me really happy. And that's the best kind of stuff, I think, overall, in general, in life. I think if it makes other people nervous, you're doing it right. And that's how I think that everyone should live by. And I think that's pretty dope. But yeah, like I say, football has been a lifesaver for me. It's been my family. It was my safe space growing up. You know, everyone has their love, and I think sport's always been mine. And it's not just football. Like growing up, I played every sport possible. I think I'm a bit neurospicy, so I need to be on the go 24/7. So yeah, sport was kind of my savior growing up. And like I say, you know, these team games, it's not a team, it's a family. And I, even to this day, people I've played since I was 9, you know, 20 years ago, you know, some of my closest friends now. And, you know, it's because we found that safe space together in an area that we didn't normally feel kind of, you know, at ease in. And I think especially, you know, females growing up, I know, you know, female football over in the US was a lot bigger before it came kind of bigger over here. So it's kind of nice to see us kind of catching up finally, just about. But it's showing that, you know, more and more girls are getting involved, and abled. It's the rise in sport in general has been incredible, to male, female, you know, everyone in between. You know, it's such a opening and welcoming experience no matter what sport you do. So it's nice to have that family to fall back on, you know, when not every day is a good day. And to have that team to fall back on makes it a lot easier to deal with those bad days. So yeah, they've definitely come in handy a fair lot.
Yeah, and that's something I've kind of grasped from talking to everybody through this podcast is, you know, you said it pretty well, is it's like a second family, but it's also a family that has that really unique understanding of like what's going on, so that you can really fully tell what's going on and they're right there with you because they've either been in a similar situation or they have their own thing. So that's what really kind of binds you. And something that I love about it as well is when you talk about it is the support you guys have for each other. And like you said, I'd met Sarah and talked to her, and having her come over, that was really interesting to see. And I'm kind of curious, like how the female amputee soccer team has, you know, came about in England, because Sarah was telling me, I don't know if it was the USA started first. I could be wrong, but we were talking a little bit. I'd love to kind of hear like how it's developed and how things are going.
Yeah, so over here, so I've been, like I said, I've been an amputee. It'll be 6 years in September, and I've been kind of around amputee football the whole time. You know, I was the only female player in the country for 4 of those years. So it's kind of been a very new thing at the moment, bringing female amputee football over here. It's been something I've been bugging them for a long time, and my bugs have been working, clearly, finally. But yeah, so it was, Poland were the first team to kind of fully announce their squad. You know, they had a big squad, they had a lot of people. And then, yeah, the US was able to, you know, bring a squad over, and they had the first, you know, competitive international game. So that was incredible, even for us to see, you know, especially me being around it for so long and not seeing other females play. You know, I'd never even played with another amputee female until last March, when I went over to Poland for the first ever international camp. And that's, I think the US had their first camp because we Skyped each other. So it was really cool to kind of say hi to everyone from very far away. But in the same aspect, it's literally like a huge family. Like, it literally is like, it, even, you know, we're going to go to the World Cup and we'll get competitive, But I feel like that's going to be on the field. As soon as that whistle's done, you know, we just fall into, well, we're just one big family and we're just here to help each other. You know, I feel that this World Cup is incredible, and as history breaking it is, you know, this is going to be an opportunity for little girls everywhere that are going to go, oh, I didn't think I could do that, but actually I can. And that's just not like amputee football. Like I run a club local to where I live, for kids with special needs. So, you know, it's been a huge success because there was nothing like it. You know, there was nothing out there that, you know, was able to make football fully inclusive for the children that had, you know, physical disabilities or mental disabilities, you know, whatever it may have been. We had some kids that felt bullied at other clubs and they didn't fit in and stuff like that. So that we were able to then give them a safe space to come and enjoy football. Like, everybody deserves to enjoy football. Everybody deserves to enjoy whatever sport they love. And, you know, if I can make that possible for them, perfect. And if I, being the loudmouth British bird that's going around, I'll take it. So there's definitely worse things I could be doing. But yeah, Sarah, I'm sure, realised very quickly that I was a talker when she came over, because we were kind of comparing things, and like, obviously the setups are very different, and obviously you guys are so spread apart. Like, you know, we're dotted around, but you guys have like got about 50,000 countries compared to our little size. Our little island's tiny. So yeah, like, I can only imagine how hard it is for the girls over there, but it just shows across the world, looking at the teams training, how committed they are and how committed we are to kind of laying that foundation. And that's what I find what we're doing. You know, yes, we're making history, but we're actually setting history open. We're not, you know, making it one and done. We are literally opening it for, you know, the rest, anyone to come through next, you know. And I hope that after this one there'll be more countries involved, and, you know, there's more and more countries every year. Like, we went to Belgium this year in March, and there was Belgium, there was Turkey, Italy, Spain. You know, they're starting to collect players. So the more it's building, even better. And, you know, we recently had a junior camp, and I think some of the US juniors had gone over as well to Belgium, and it was like the biggest junior camp they'd had, and it's just incredible. And, you know, I coach our England juniors, and I look after the teeny tiny ones, you know, the up to like 4 or 5 year olds. So they've got teeny tiny crutches and teeny tiny stumps, and, you know, they just literally give me a reason to get up. You know, I do struggle, like I said before, I struggle a lot with phantom pains. You know, my amputation isn't just the thing I have to deal with. You know, due to my cancers, I don't have the left side of my pelvis, so that makes things very difficult. So like, I can't wear a prosthetic, which is fine. Like, I don't mind it, because I don't mind being on my crutches all the time, and I think it's actually helped football wise, because I've got like a lot of stamina, even though I didn't actually mean to get it. But it's worked out. Like, I call myself an upside down triangle, because I've got big shoulders and a point at the bottom, and I think it's perfect. But yeah, like, you know, sports played such a huge role in my life, and if I can provide that for anyone else, then my job's a good one. You know, if I can inspire someone to take over my role so I don't have to do it, even better, because then you'll get another mouthy little British bird. So I'm training them well. I'm starting them early, and I'm going to train them up well. But yeah, no, it has been incredible, and, you know, just seeing it grow and grow has just been amazing across all disability sports. Like, you watch Paralympics in a few weeks, and the buzz that comes around it is just unbelievable. And, you know, hopefully one day amputee football would be a thing, hopefully. But until then, we just got to keep riding the ride that we've, you know, been given what we've got. And I think that comes across in most of, I think, life in general. You know, you've got to take each step as it comes. I was asked once, you know, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And this was only after my first cancer. So when after my second, we hadn't even got to the drama bit yet. It was just my first.
Oh, wow.
And they said to me,
Right.
where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I was like, well, I don't know. Like, I didn't, you know, I had to kind of plan day by day, because one, I didn't know what my body would be like. I didn't know how I'd feel. You know, I didn't want to make plans that I then weren't able to kind of go through with, and I get frustrated if I can't do it. So yeah, I get a bit stubborn, which is why I think I've done a lot of what I've done, because I'm like, oh, I can't do it, watch me. So yeah, no, I do like a bit of a challenge. So anything that's thrown at me, I do like to get stuck in real well. So I don't know if that'll get me in trouble or not, but we'll find out come November.
No, I think being stubborn is going to help you out a lot. It sounds like it's done incredible things for you already, so that's good to know. But I'd love to dive more into, because you said you're doing a little bit of coaching, and I saw some stuff on your Instagram, and like, how has that really kind of impacted you? And, I know when I help out and like you serve others, it's just like so rewarding. And I'm just kind of curious, like how that feels for you. And, it's like you said, you're helping that next generation that's up and coming, because you've been on the forefront of amputee soccer, right? Because now you have a women's team, now you're helping the juniors, and it's just like it's growing. Now you have the World Cup that's going to be down in South America, I believe, correct?
Yeah, down in Colombia. Can't wait. Although
so,
I
like,
struggle
what's
to
it
play in our summer, and our summer's not hot, and we're coming in their summer. Theirs, I can't do that. So that would be interesting. But yeah, so kind of coaching, like as much as I adore playing, I've always had a passion for playing football. I think it's been, since starting my coaching that I've found like my real love of it, especially working with the little ones, because it isn't about, right, you need to learn, this formation, you need to learn this. It is literally just about them getting a ball at their foot, having a kick about, getting used to crutches and those little things. And, the first time I'd gone there, a lot of our coaches are two-legged, and that's fair. We don't have many qualified one-legged coaches, so it kind of makes sense. We do have a lot of two-leggers. But yeah, for the first time going there, and one, being an amputee coach, but also being a female amputee coach, it was kind of, I had these little girls just beaming up at me, and, it just makes kind of every, not every day is a good day. I think everybody goes through that, whether they're disabled or not. It's just in general life can be crap, life can be great. It just depends on the day, the weather, you name it, depends a lot of it. But when it comes to coaching, that is just when I'm my absolute happiest. I don't know if it's because we've got the same mental age, but it works, so it's fine. And we love being because if I can live, like, our world realistically isn't the best place to live in. So if I can live in their world for even 10 minutes, then sweet, because some of their world sounds really cool. Like the stuff they come out with, I'm like, that would be really cool, actually. Yeah, if I could fly with lasers coming out my crutches, that sounds way better than normal life.
True.
Like, that sounds genius. But yeah, so like coaching, just, I think it's just been that full circle moment, because like I said, I've grown up playing sport across all levels. I was due to come over to you guys when I was going to college, so that would have been really cool. But then I got my first diagnosis, so kind of put that on the back burner. But like I said earlier, female football wasn't massive, especially over here. I know it was, the NWSL was quite decent over there, but over here it wasn't a profession, anything like that. So it was kind of, okay, Shelb, you've been ill, focus on your studies. I wanted to be a police officer, but I wanted to be a PE teacher. So it was trying to juggle everything, with my crazy brain sometimes can be interesting. But yeah, finding coaching is just, I think, is just given me the reason, like, to get up every day. Because if I can go make them laugh, or, just them laughing and smiling just makes my day. And I absolutely love it. And just providing them a sport that they can call home themselves, and their teammates or the other little ones, and they don't get to meet other amputees very often, and it's just so nice that they feel at home, at ease, completely safe within their disability, within themselves, and you just get to see them be kids. And they're not kids with disabilities, they're just kids with sticks running around having a bit of fun. And that's all we really want for them. They deserve, a lot of them have been through way too much in their lives already. And the least that we can do is provide them a fun sport that, you know, they can call a family and work through it together and help each other. Like, I didn't have many, you know, amputee friends to kind of go down the route to of, you know, specific questions or anything like that. So, you know, if I can be that option for them to kind of, you know, they do come over to me and they'll be like, so, like, what's best to do this, or like, how is the best way to do this? And I love being able to teach them that, because mine's kind of been a very learn as you go process. And the amount of times I've kicked my crutch from out for me is too many times. So I can teach them how to kick it properly and they won't fall over and get concussion. Perfect example. But yeah, so, and that's just like the juniors and the next generation of disability sport. But, you know, in my day job, you know, working with special needs kids that go from, you know, have low self-esteem, autism, you know, ADHD to cerebral palsy. You know, we've got kids that are completely mute, and somehow I'm still able to converse with them, and I love it. Like, because they're sometimes as well, like a lot of families, they panic too much about people looking in, sort of thing. You know, if a kid's being like had a sensory overload sort of thing, you know, every child reacts differently to sensory overload. They may scream, they may not, they may kick out, they may not. And you know, having amputee football, but also having that send football, the parents don't feel like everybody's watching and judging them. And we kind of say to them, you know, like, just sit down, let us deal with it. You know, I'd say, give me a minute. If I'm not able to calm them down, come over, but just give me a minute. And 9 times out of 10, we was able to talk whatever it was out, talk it through, and yeah, got them going back in playing and stuff like that. And the parents are like, oh, because they're, you know, not used to someone kind of understanding it and kind of knowing their child before anything escalates too far, but also feeling at ease that, you know, even if they're kicking off, no one's going to look even mildly at them, because chances are I'm kicking off as well, and we just have fun with it. And we just make, you know, a laugh. Well, I do with a lot of things, as you can probably tell, but yeah, so I just try to keep smiles on their faces, because like I say, this world can really suck. You know, at the moment we've got riots everywhere, and it's just like for no reason as well. And it's just so aggravating that, you know, we've got our kids that are growing up and seeing this, and it's like, this isn't normal human behavior. You know, normal human behavior is having respect for each other, and no matter where you're from and what you do, you know, every person is a human being that deserves their respect, and, you know, to be treated like a human being. And I like, you know, love making people laugh, because, you know, some days are rubbish and people don't like to kind of let people let on that, you know, that they're not doing too well. And if I can make them laugh in that, you know, 5-10 minutes, then you know, it makes all the difference, because I know how much of a laugh makes to me anyway. But yeah, so I just kind of see if I pass on the laughs and kind of help people through each day. And I think it works. I think it does. I get told it works, so I'm going to take it on the chin as it definitely works. But yeah, you can't go wrong with having a good laugh, and especially when it's at yourself, it's even better. It's even perfect.
Yeah, that's the best thing you do, is laugh a lot of things off. And I really love you painted a really good, interesting perspective there. Was, you know, the parents have a place that they can come where, like you said, if the kid is, you know, having a sensory overload or things like that, it's because that's something a lot of people are starting to realize in society. I mean, you're seeing kids go to therapists for things like that. My aunt and uncle have like a niece that goes to therapy because she has sensory issues and gets sensory overload, and she's learning to deal with it. And like you said, it's important they have that place there, and that's cool that you can be there and help them out. And then, like you said, at the end of the day, you get to have fun, make them smile, and really, that's all you can do. And that's the greatest thing you can give a kid.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the kids go through enough as it is, you know, and I think growing up, I think sort of our generation, it was more, you know, put up and shut up, you deal with it, you get on with it. And it's like, no, that's not, we've got enough childhood trauma to know that that is not the way to go. Yeah, exactly. So, if we can, show the kids that, that you don't have to keep everything to yourselves, talking to each other will make such a difference. And even now I talk to people about things and I'm like, oh, that had a big deal. Well, okay. But if we can, as like you say, as a society, kind of help them through it and not judge or put them in a box. And, I think a school over here, it was very much right. It needs to be this, this, and this. It was kind of, we're making robots. You need to hit this, this, and this mark, and you go from there. But every child is so different. They have different milestones. They have different abilities. They have different personalities. Everyone is so different, which is what makes everyone so perfect, like on their own. And no one should have to change for anybody else. And it's like with, a lot of our kids, they learn differently to most kids or most people. I learn differently. I learn from doing it or seeing it. If you tell me something, I'm like, yeah, sure. Like I can't envision it. But if I'm either shown it or so, like even at my work, we don't just sit them there and go, right, you're going to go do this. We walk them through it. We give a demonstration so they can see what it looks like. We've got like a laminated bit of card for them to read through it so they know what they're going to be doing once they get there. And those little things make such a huge difference, because they're things that, like, even when I was a kid, I didn't want to, make it known to everyone that I learned differently. I didn't want them to teach me differently because it was weird. And it's not. It's not weird. It's just how I learn. And everyone's such different learners. And I think making sport so inclusive in that sense, and being able to learn at their pace, not at anybody else's. And like we say, having that safe space to go, it means the absolute world. Like, football was my safe space. All sport was my safe space. It was my getaway. It was when I could focus on me and my sport and my team. And, we didn't have to think about everything else. So if, any sport can provide that to any child, especially like now growing up, and now they know they've got, these safe spaces to talk about these feelings and to talk about all these different things. And I think it's going to make such a difference in like the future generations, and, just moving on and having a successful, next set of humans. Basically, we're teaching the next generation to kind of run the world, and that's kind of terrifying, especially when you see how terrible some of them are. They turn teenagers, they're great as kids, and then they become teenagers, and then they go a bit meh, and then they become adults, and then you become me, and then it's just great. So it works.
That's fair. I'm right there with you. You find that happy age group, and you're like, yes, they're good, they're motivated, they're funny, we can handle them. And then, like you said, they get to that teenage, and you're like, all right, on to the next coach. Yeah. I'm going to stay in this area right here.
Yeah, the audacity gets reeled in real quick. Definitely. Yeah. But I find as well, like with, special needs children, they're so different, and they're so open and loving and have no misconceptions of anybody. And in like the craziest way, they see you for you. They will straight away ask me where my leg is. Normally I tell them that their brother robbed it, or, either the other kid stole it, or it was a shark and then I ate the shark. There's many stories. It depends what day it is. They all know the actual reason, but they're not as fun. Having a blood clot and cancer is boring compared to a shark attack. So it just makes sense that that's the route we go down. So anything they see a shark of, they're like, oh my God, it's Shelbée. So I will happily take the shark title. I'll take it. But yeah, they love it. And they just, they see me for me, the crazy bouncy coach they get to come and have fun with every week. And, and it really is my absolute passion. Like, I really couldn't be happier doing what I do, and just making a difference. Like, I had people in my life that, played a huge role in, me being who I am today. And if I can even play a slither role in any of their lives and make that bit of a difference, even if it's for a day where they're just having the day of their lives, then my job on the planet's, set and set to go. And people tell me I've got more lives than a cat, but apparently I'm also very stubborn about not let illnesses win. But I also then apparently like illnesses because I like doing it the hard way. But what can you say? Disability people, we don't do it easy. Come say hi.
Well, that's fair. And you guys, oh, hey, buddy.
This is Willow.
Willow. That's a cute little dachshund you got there. You said something that I really love to highlight too is, like you said, you tell those people, you said that they can see, like they see you for you, right? They see you for the true thing. And that's something that a lot of people don't get nowadays. And that's what we want to, is to be seen for who we are. And I think that's really important. And I think that's another thing too, to kind of segue, is I feel like there's a gap and some misconnections between the able-bodied community and like the adapted community. And I'm kind of curious, like, on what your opinion is, and like, or maybe what's a way to bridge that gap, or to get to understand you guys a little bit better. Because I think that's really important that we understand that, because, you guys are capable. I've talked to Sarah before and everybody else, and you guys are athletes. You're out there, you're training, you're doing this. And so what's kind of your perception or opinions on like how to maybe bridge that gap and to get a better understanding?
Yes, I think I've got I think I'm quite fortunate in the sense, I've got the view from both ends of the spectrum. I went from being an 18-year-old coming to the US to play football for, a degree, and kind of go from there, hopefully, to go from that to being, 18, having cancer, and kind of going through that journey. And then I was able to go to university, at home, and did my first year there of my teaching degree. But then I was re-diagnosed with cancer. So it was due to that, I had the left, like, that was why, the left side of my pelvis was removed. And from, that day, I was disabled. And it's been a humongous learning curve since. I've only been an amputee for nearly 6 years, but I've, had my original surgery nearly, 7-8 years ago now. So it's been a fair while. But like I say, even now, I'm still learning. And I'm only learning because I talk and ask honest questions. When I'm out and about and a kid goes, "Mummy, where's her leg?" and they're like, "Sorry," I'm like, "Honestly, it's fine," because you shouldn't have to worry about asking questions. And I find as well, like, especially with cancer, it's such a touchy subject, and I completely get why. All of us are affected by it in some way. You won't find anyone on this planet that doesn't know someone or lost someone that has gone through cancer. And unfortunately, that's just what it is. And it's made me into who I am today. And people find it crazy, but I wouldn't change it, which is mad, to not kind of be, as much as I say F you to cancer, I also say thank you, because it's brought me so much to my life. It took a long time to get to where we are. But that openness between other disabled people, when, like, it just needs to be just as open with able-bodied people. People should be able to ask and go, "Oh, like, how?" And I love when people ask. I really, really love it, because all they're wanting to know is my story. And if I can pass on my story and they go, "Oh, amazing," like, "Oh, okay, that's actually made me motivated me a little bit," then buzzing. I love that. But yeah, it's just, I think communication on a whole, in general, just in life in general, and that's between adults and kids, between adults and adults, relationships, friendships, everything, families, siblings, everything, to me, like, in my brain, revolves around communication and having that open communication. And it's very, very much the same with disabilities. Able-bodied as well as disabled should, some people aren't as, open and honest, and that's fair, which is why, a lot of people go, "Oh, do you mind me asking?" And that's always nice to them to kind of be like, just check in. But people that know me know that I'm an open book, and I'll tell them whatever they want. But yeah, like, I do believe that, to bridge that gap just that bit more is that communication and kind of crossovers as well, because you know we have like, so I play for Chelsea as well as our England team. Like, I've played with the men for, you know, a fair few years, and as hard as it was, it's made me who I am. You know, it made me the player I am. I'm able to put up a fairly good fight because I've played with guys for years, and it's nothing I don't know different because I grew up with brothers, so it weren't an issue. They just weren't used to having a girl that could really put her foot in, literally. So that was quite fun because I was the little sister that they were looking after. Yeah, secret weapon that was, honestly. But like, same with Chelsea, you know, we've got our disability teams and we've got, you know, our men's team, we've got our female team, we've got our academy players. And, you know, last summer we did a TikTok video with some of the Chelsea first team players, and they gave amputee football a go. So they were awful, but they tried. I told them to not lose a leg. It's fine. Stick with the two. They can play with two. Yeah, so it's just incredible to kind of have able-bodied people even try amputee football. Like our national coach Sam, who's absolutely fantastic and he's amazing, and you know, part of our like setup and our training regime is we go on crutch runs and stuff like that, you know, to build our arms, build stamina, stuff like that. And he goes out every morning on crutches. He's fully abled, no limb difference, no nothing, but he was like, and it was really nice because then he did kind of put in the message and say, you know, I have a whole new amount of respect for you guys, because it's not easy, and it isn't easy, and especially the lads make it look very easy, but you know, it's not as easy as kind of a lot of people make it look. So it's, you know, and I've learned from trial and error, and you know, I've learned from watching people around me, and just having, you know, that openness between abled and disabled. I feel there's too much of a kind of a distance at the moment, and too much, you know, not the open and honestness of it. You know, they should be able to talk to people about any, you know, additional needs, or because, you know, someone could be fully abled but they're not, because you don't know what's going on in their lives. It's like, you know, I'll go into a disability bay and get stared at, comments made, and it's not until I step out the car that they go, oh, and then they go, oh, and I'm like, yeah, exactly, come at me now. But it is silly things like that. And like, one, even if I didn't have a physical disability that they could see, it's not the, like, in a sense of questioning why someone will park there, that's not their business. If they were generally like wanting to get to know you out of that scenario, it's fine. But when, you know, you've got people already prejudging before they know you, see you, talk to you, anything, you know, because they want the spot, and it's like, well, I need the spot as well. You know, it's not, it's, there's more disabled people than just, you know, you guys. But yeah, so it's, I think bridging the gap's a huge thing that I think needs to be across all sports. And I think, you know, Paralympics does incredible when it comes to that. It gets so much notice within disabled sports, and the variety of disability sports as well. Like, there's sports that I would love to try, and I've not got around to doing it yet. I want to get the World Cup out the way first, because I don't trust myself not getting injured doing something stupid. So I'm going to behave, which isn't like me, and even Sarah knows that. And we got paired together, so she definitely knows it. She was the one that messaged me the other day because she wants more Shelbée mic'd up content when I'm at training. I'm not sure why though. It's not like I talk much or anything, so it's fun. I don't get it. But yeah, no, we have a laugh every time within, you know, I think sport in general. And I think once you found your people, you found your family, and your chosen family is huge. And I've got a humongous chosen family, especially with all the little kids and their families. And, you know, I get, you know, messages and, you know, cards and stuff like that. And, you know, just saying how, like, I'm their inspiration. And it's like, well, no, you guys are mine. Like, you guys have got your whole lives in front of you. You're going to smash every single bit of it. Like, I'm just some old bird that gets to sit and shouts at you and has fun. So you're the inspirations, because they just, and the thing is as well, like with, you know, the little ones, is it's kind of good because they don't know any better. You know, that's their life, and they've kind of grown up and learned from day one. You know, I was a fully able-bodied person and had to kind of learn how to be disabled in a sense. And I think a lot of that came down to not so much allowing myself to be disabled, but accepting that I wasn't going back to where, you know, my 18-year-old self. And I know that a lot of people go through very, very similar thoughts and struggles, because sometimes, you know, amputations are sometimes chosen. You know, sometimes they're, what's the word? Like, traumatic, traumatic,
Thank you.
and, you know, there's lots of different, you know, ways that people lose their limbs. And I think bonding over those ways is like, it's weird, because like, if I was to say to some random person and go, oh yeah, like I met someone the other day and we high-fived about our cancer, and they'd be like, sorry? But then when you meet someone, like, so my first cancer, I had Ewing sarcoma, so it's a very, very rare teenage cancer. So I've only met 2 other people that have had it, you know. So as soon as we see each other, we were like, oh my God, high five. And it's like, you never thought when you get that diagnosis, you're going to be going high-fiving people that you're basically ill together. But like I say, you've got, like, I've always found those silver linings the best way I can, because that's kind of how I've got through things. And I think as well, being misdiagnosed for so long and told, you know, it was all in my head and there was nothing wrong with me, kind of having an answer and having a kind of plan forward meant that I was going to get my life back, and, you know, I was going to be able to start living again, because at the time I'd gone from this 18-year-old ready to take on the world in football, and I was now in a bed, unable to pretty much look after myself. And, you know, going from 18 to what felt like a baby didn't feel the best. But like I say, I learned every day. From each day as it came, I tried to let my body heal as best as I could. It didn't help that I had loads of complications after, but like I said, I didn't do it the easy way, apparently. But like, I don't think it would be me if I did do it the easy way. I think now everyone's kind of like, yeah, no, that makes sense. So they're kind of like, yeah, Shelb's at it again. But it's like, prime example, I have pulled this 2 discs in my back that are now impinging on one of my nerves. So if I don't stretch and stuff properly, I'll start getting, you know, electric shocks down my legs. And I went into hospital a few weeks back just to get, you know, a scan in and stuff. And, you know, 2 days later, my body decides to let the cannula get infected, and my vein collapsed, and I got infections up and down my arm. And, you know, it went from, I need me back checking to, oh, I need some very strong antibiotics because I'm not well. And having, you know, such a terrible immune system after chemotherapy, as well as having meningitis while in chemotherapy. And then I got sepsis during my second cancer. And, you know, I like to say, not things easily, and I love every part of it now. I love it now, not so much when it happened, but now. But yeah, like, it was learning every day. And if I can teach them from, you know, now, then buzzing, because if it's going to make even some of their life a little bit easier, then I'm good. I'm good with that, because as long as they're happy and they're living life to the fullest like they deserve to be, then yeah, I'm set. Because I've lived an incredible life so far. You know, I'm 30 November, which I can't wait, because it's going to be on the World Cup final day. So
all right,
us guys versus you guys, 30th birthday, take it all out. But yeah, so it's, you know, in those 30 years, okay, I've been through more than what anyone should in a lifetime. But it wouldn't have made me who I am. Like, I've always been kind of off me rocker a little bit, and very energetic. But I think the way my brain works and kind of just seeing the best in every situation has come from that. Because, you know, we didn't say no if I was going to, you know, see the next day. And like I say, I've got more lives than a cat. So, you know, there's been a fair few times that people have said bye, or, you know, we've been at a stage where we're like, okay, we need to work out what the next process is and stuff like that. So just being here, I feel incredibly lucky. Just the fact that I'm here. And I do always say, like, I'm not just here to live my life. I'm here to live a life for everyone that I've met, every person that, you know, didn't get to live theirs. Because, you know, cancer's cancer, life's life. Not everyone survives. I get it. It is life. But, you know, when you're 18 going to 4 of your friends' funerals, it really sucks. And I think that's the only thing I would change from it all, like, is being able to do more to kind of help them. And, you know, something I suffer with awfully is survivor's guilt. And I feel that me being able to knock off things they had on their bucket list, even as a one-legger, makes me feel a bit more connected to them every day, and be able to kind of do the things we used to love doing together anyway, and any extra challenges they want to throw at me, even from the other side, like they like doing. But yeah, like, I wouldn't be me without them. And that's why if I can be that person for someone else, then I'm set, because they literally, the people I've met, saved my life. And that's not just through medically, it's mentally more than most. Because, you know, when you are disabled, mentally it takes over big time on most days. You know, physical pain sucks, but you can kind of treat that with medication. But, you know, when you're in that down day, it's kind of just trying to find those little glimpses of what you love and what you find, you know, your happiness in. And like, mine is coaching. You know, I go coaching in the evening, and I call it 3 therapy. You know, they're actually helping my brain. I could have a really, really rough day and go see them and be just over the moon afterwards. And if I can be that bubbly person that, you know, helps them have a better day, you know, some of them don't have a good day at school and they come to football and then they're buzzing. So yeah, I just love being the person that, one, I wish I did have some amazing people around me, without a doubt. But I wish I had that, you know, the certain someone just to be like, you know, don't take life too seriously, because you never know what's going to be thrown at you. You never know where it's going to take you. You know, this wasn't the plan I was on, but it's the plan that I am so grateful to have. And to be able to even represent, you know, the country, to even be part of that team and be part of this group of girls is an honor far beyond anything I think anyone could realize. And, you know, even representing in a World Cup, you know, it's what you dream of as a kid. You know, no matter what you love doing, whether that's gaming, whether it's football, whether it's racing, all you ever want to do is be the best of the best. And that's something I've definitely always kept with me. But I think also having older brothers kind of didn't help that, because the competitiveness was very much there. Kind of the little sisters kind of kept to themselves, and I was with the lads. So I've always pushed myself a bit further than I probably should, but I'm learning-ish to take care of my body. So we'll see.
That's all right. It comes with age, I guess. Now that you're going to be 30, we got to take care of our bodies. And speaking of that, you know, you were talking about your training. So I'd love to kind of just dive in and learn, like, how you know, maintain your health and, you know, your recovery methods. You know, what's training like, and how do you prioritize it? What's maybe like a weekly routine? I'm very curious about it.
Yeah, well, mine, it very much differs. So I know a lot of our girls are very good at kind of sticking to their regime. And, you know, we get our, we do get through training sessions each day, and we can go through, we do like a well-being as well, just so they know how we're doing that day. But like I say, mine is very, very day to day, because I do suffer so much with my phantom pains, as well as, you know, because of the lack of pelvis, my pelvis slides a lot and hits into my spine. So that causes a lot of issues. Even, you know, if I'm sat in a chair for too long, or if I'm stood for too long, or if I sit wrong, you know, it's one movement to the left and, you know, it's me done for days. And an example was, you know, this week, since being in hospital a few weeks back, I've been resting and I've been doing my stretches and my physio. And for me, to not push myself is a humongous achievement. And to finally start feeling good again, I was doing really well. And then had a really bad sleep Friday night and my pelvis was not playing ball. And it just meant Saturday I couldn't train and I was devastated. I think I was frustrated at myself. It's something I can't control. And I do get that. And I try to tell myself that more and more and more. But it's easier said than done. But a lot of my training, I do a lot of walking on my crutches. So obviously I don't use a prosthetic. I don't use a wheelchair. I'm just on my crutches 24/7. As you can probably very much tell how destroyed they are and how bad the handles get. So, but yeah, so I love, one of my things I absolutely love doing is taking the dog out. We love going on hikes. And, you know, I think that's how I kind of started, you know, getting more like mobile again after, you know, all my surgeries and stuff like that. And after the amputation, my way of getting moving and building that strength up again was taking, you know, Willow for a walk. So we'd go up a farmer field and each day would go a bit further and a bit further and a bit further. And it means, you know, now that I've built up that foundation where I can work on my upper body, I can work on my lower body. It's just, I've just got to be careful of my middle body, which you don't realize how much is needed until you can't have it or use it. It's really frustrating. But it's just about adapting. And I think that covers all of us. You know, we all suffer with different phantom and pains. We all suffer with different, you know, and it's not just physical, mental, it's, you know, everything in between that. It's work, trying to keep you know, your professional life of working as well as trying to have a social life, but training for this and you're doing this. And, you know, like we say, we train, you know, a fair bit. And when I'm not training, I'm playing for Chelsea. And when I'm not there, I'm coaching the juniors. And when we're not there, we're training at Chelsea. So, you know, it's very on the go. But like I said, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's just now that I'm finally learning about my body and actually going, oh, I'll listen this time, shall I? Because it's been a long time since I think if ever I've done it. But, you know, and I just get to the point where I get so fidgety, but it's also me finding my place where if I do have a bad day that I know where I'm needed, sort of thing. So, you know, on Saturday when I couldn't train, being at the side of the pitch, helping the girls know formations, or, you know, like helping them, saying like, you know, if they move there, what you're going to want to do is come around there to just little things like that. And, you know, all the girls all the time tell me how much they appreciate it. And I always think I'm just babbling on too much and they think I'm a know-it-all or whatever it may be. But, you know, they always say it, just how, you know, helpful and incredible it is. So it definitely helps that I've got a fair, decent voice. That definitely helps, because I'm sure like you guys I didn't even need the microphone. You can actually just hear me across the world. As if you are Sarah, she'll definitely confirm that. But yeah, I'm just so excited. And I've been, you know, we train every day and we have our rest days when we can. A lot of our girls have been absolutely incredible. Would you like to come and sit? You feel left out? I'm so sorry. But yeah, so it's just been amazing to see the amount of, you know, we went from me being the only girl for years, and then last year we finally got the next girl, and it was like, okay, that's 2, good start. And then it was the next one, it was like, okay, 3, perfect. And it's like, okay, we're on the roll. We're on the roll of this. And then it came to November and we launched it, and I think we had 8 at that point, and I think now we're up to 16. So it's, you know, as little as it sounds, it's like humongous in that sense of the word. You know, we can only take 13 players to a World Cup, so it's already competitive. It's already, you know, we're all training hard. There's no guarantees anyone's going, you know, just because I've played longer or whatever it may be. If I don't prove that I deserve that place, then I won't be going, and I wouldn't ever hold it against anybody, because if I put the work in, I don't deserve to be there, you know. And I think just helping each other through the days when we are struggling, you know, on Saturday when I was struggling a lot mentally with the fact of it, and not being able to do anything and being frustrated at myself. But, you know, just having the team there going, like, because as well, like, I just automatically go to the, well, I'm letting them down because I'm not, you know, training. Because the last camp I was in hospital, and this camp I've not been able to physically train. So I'm like, you know, I'm letting them down, and they're like, shut up. No, you're not. And I'm like, but I am. But they're like, no, you're not. Shut up. And I'm like, okay, I will try. But yeah, just having that team around us and just seeing the connections we've got between each other, and, you know, the bonds that form within football, within disability sport, within any sport in general, you know, they're your family for life. And, you know, these girls, I do believe they're not going to get rid of me that easy. So they're kind of stuck with me for now. So they've not realised that just yet. But I did, to be fair though, I did say on national TV on Friday, I was like, I just reel them in and then they're stuck. They just think I'm joking. I'm not joking. They full on do. But yeah, like I say, it's a family that without them I wouldn't have, you know, got through my hardest days. And, you know, I think probably same vice versa. And we're just there for each other and just doing the best we can each day. And that's all we can ask, you know, 1% better every day. And, you know, we push, but also have to listen to our bodies. And, you know, we do put a lot of strain on our shoulders and stuff like that. So it's just about, like you say, rest in the right spots and resting when you can, and kind of just training when you can. You know, a lot of our ladies, they, you know, work full time but are still out training every day, and it's so motivating to see, and it makes everybody else want to work harder. And that's what it is. It's not, we're not comparing ourselves to each other, we're motivating each other. And I think that is by far the best thing about team sports, especially, you know, even in individual sports, you've still got a team around you. And those people are what make all the difference. You know, they bring out the best in you, and you can then provide the best to everybody else. And, you know, I'm hoping that the best of me helps bring out the best of my little toe rags, that all my little mini me's. So it should be interesting in about 10-15 years to have 13 little me's. Now that would be fun, wouldn't it?
That will definitely be interesting, especially how that team's going to be in for a rude awakening, aren't they?
I know, right?
You mentioned something that I think a lot of people don't know too, is like, you know, you guys are talking about training, but like, you know, most of everybody has either a full-time job on top of having to train to make the team, especially now that you guys have 16 players and you can only take 13. And so, I mean, I think that's an incredible endeavor within itself, and that people really need to understand that the quality of work you guys put in, just from one on an athletic level, and then two from a personal level of like working and then having to go in and do your workouts and having the discipline to do it on your own. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I think I always struggled with that growing up, was, you know, motivating to go out on my own. And normally I didn't have to, because there was enough siblings to pick and choose from. But, you know, it was kind of, it is a lot. Don't get me wrong. Even, you know, I'm on summer break, but that doesn't mean that think it's become easy, in no sense of the word. But, you know, a lot of our ladies, even through, you know, the summer and stuff, are, you know, working full time, and then they still go out in the evenings, and then they still hit the gym afterwards to do any strength and conditioning. And, you know, this isn't a sport or an opportunity that we can just go train every day together and go train ourselves to the best that we can. It's, we train around when we can. You know, when I'm working in the evenings, I train in the mornings, and if I'm working in the mornings, I train in the evenings. And it's just about, I think as well, especially in disability sport, is making the sacrifices of, you know, instead of going to lay down for 20 minutes, I'm going to go do some muscle work or lower body and stuff. Just even just like when I'm struggling pain wise, I'll get my resistant bands out and do some shoulder work, like just little things, because like we say, 1% better every day is going to make, you know, it's going to build up, and it's going to build up. And we, you know, say that a lot to our girls, because like I said before, a lot of them had never kicked a ball. Some of them had never even, like, they've been on prosthetic all their lives. So getting used to crutches without a prosthetic is new to them as well. So, you know, everything is pretty much very new to everybody. And like I say, like, I played football beforehand, but when I say it's like learning a new sport, it is far and beyond that. Like, it is crazy because the concept's the exact same. You still got to score a ball of air into the goal in the opposite side, and you know, you can't do this, you can't do that, but you know, there's the extra rules, like the crutch is a handball, and if it's your stump, it's handball, and all that drama of officials loving me, by the way. They actually do. Because I'm really quiet, they really love me. That's what it is. I'm pretty sure it is anyway. But you know, there's so many rules to it, but there's, you know, the way I used to shoot and the way I used to kick is very different to how I do now. Because I've got to hold myself up with two chopsticks that are just about reliable enough to keep me up when I don't kick it out from under me. So not ideal, but you know, we move, don't we, mate? We only had concussion twice in the same week. It's fine, we're good. But yeah, like some of the girls, they're just absolute machines, and I just couldn't imagine having any other kind of teammates, but also any other people within this sport, because every single person you meet within, I think, disabled sport in general, and I think a lot of sports, it's, you know, I know you get your egos, and you know, you will do everywhere you go. No matter where you go in the world, you're going to find egos, you're going to find pride that doesn't like being touched, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm the one that likes prodding it right where it hurts, because I'm nice, you see. But yeah, like it's and being there for each other makes the whole difference. And you're like I said, the girls always say, like, the things I say help them, and if it helps, amazing, because then everything I'm doing is right. Even when I'm broken, I can't do anything, I'm doing something, because it means I'm helping them become that 1% better for the team. And we're not relying on one person. You know, just because I played 5 years doesn't mean we're going to go out and be like, oh, well, just give Shelbée the ball, off you go, because that's not how football works. Ask Lionel Messi. It took him how long to win a World Cup? So just saying. But yeah, so like, it's so different, and they're all, you know, everyone's got such different lives. They've got kids, you know, they've got jobs, they've all of this, but they're still putting in that effort. And it's like, okay, well, if they can do it, then I suppose I should roll out of bed and do something. So it does motivate you most days, definitely. But yeah, like I said, I kind of, you know, with my job, I kind of get to train at the same time, because I just get to chase kids around for a few hours with footballs, and it's great. And they love it, because they love obviously playing football with me, and you know, they know my background, and I, you know, for the club that we run, I won an award last year at the England Awards, so that was pretty.
Oh, congratulations!
Incredible, yeah. So I won an award called the Bobby Moore Award, and he's kind of like an iconic England ex-player, won the World Cup in '66, and he's got a big statue outside of Wembley and stuff like that. So yeah, I got a phone. I had got a call last year to say that I'd won Coach of the Year within our county, sort of our area. And then I got a call a few weeks later to say that, you know, I'd got forwarded for this award, and that after over 5,000 applicants, they've brought it down, and I was the winner. And I was like, have you rung the right person? Because I'm so, like, I'm getting better though. I'm getting better at like taking compliments and stuff and actually believing them before I just like, thanks. But yeah, so last year was incredible. And to be able to share that with the kids that I work with was beyond anything I could have dreamt of. You know, it was just things you grow up dreaming of, and being able to make the difference to them is just been incredible. And like on Friday, you know, we were on national TV over here on like our morning, it's called This Morning, and we run it over here. And you know, I got pictures through from all the kids' parents, them watching me on there and how excited they were, and it was just so sweet. And so like they give me even more motivation to keep pushing, because me being out there puts them there too, because I wouldn't be there without them. And that's crazy to sound, but without her and without them, you know, I would have, I think, fallen down a hole a long time ago. They definitely have helped me massively through day to day when you're not shouting your head off. But the kids just bring every bit of joy to my life that I like. It's sometimes hard. Like, I don't struggle with words, as you can probably tell. But when it comes to talking about those kids, it really it gets me sometimes because I just love them so much. And I think the parents see that a lot as well. Like they're like, they call me their extra parent because I know them so well. And I know, know the families and that as well. So, I just love just being able to be there for them because a lot of people don't have a lot of support behind them. And, if they can have a loudmouth like me, then even better. It makes up for 10 people, doesn't it, mate? And you're 5 in yourself because you bark like a German Shepherd. I know.
Well, Shelbée, I just want to say thanks for kind of bringing us into your world and telling us all about yourself and all the incredible
thanks
things
for
you're
having
doing.
me.
Yeah, I mean that's
and the sausage.
that's a fantastic that you got to go and you won that. I mean that's a prestigious award out of 5,000 applicants. You got it. I mean that's really amazing. It's a testament to who you are as a person and what you're doing, especially for those kids. And like you said, you're like a second parent, and I'm sure you're just doing a world of good over there.
No, I just, like I said, I love what I do. And I think, when people say when you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life, but I think it's the opposite. I love it and I work my backside off because I just love it so much. And, if I can make myself better, that's going to make it better for them, then sweet. I do anything I can. We reach out all across the area. So we don't, just do one day in one spot. We, go all around. So I'll go, go drive in and go do different schools and stuff like that. So, I love reaching out as well. And it puts not just send football out there, like special needs football, but also me being an amputee and doing assemblies, kind of telling them my story and stuff like that, kind of gives them a bit of a oomph. Going, oh, okay, if this absolute weirdo that's turned up at our school can do it, anyone can do it. So that's what I hope they take from it anyway. I hope they take away that I'm weird. Otherwise, my job wasn't done properly.
Just authentic. That's all it is.
Oh, yeah. Unique, as we call it.
Yeah. Well, I do appreciate your time this evening and sharing all about yourself. And I look forward to seeing how you guys do in the World Cup. I'm going to see if I can figure out a way to watch it and support you guys the best I can.
No, that would be amazing. I know there'll be, so obviously we've got I think it's like the Worldwide Amputee Association or something. And they will be streaming all of it. So people can watch it online and that. So it'll be good. So so it'll be, I think, streamed probably Facebook and YouTube is normally the ones they go for. But yeah, no, definitely keep a lookout. And when our rivalry comes up, I'll let you know.
Sounds good. And then can our audience follow you on Instagram and social media and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So on Instagram, it is just Shelbée Clarke. Shelbée as in SHELBEE, not Shelbye, as a lot of people think. And then I am on TikTok, which I think I'm highly hilarious. Because one night when I was really, really tired and oversleepy, I changed my TikTok name from Shelbée Clarke to the One-Legged Legend. So if you want to come over, I do lots of different challenge videos. For Limb Loss Awareness Month, I did a week of different challenges that you'd normally need 2 legs for. Nailed all of them, just saying. But yeah, so love a good challenge. I'm always up to some crazy things here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, definitely get in touch, keep in touch. And, if anyone's got any questions, feel free to throw them at me because, like I said, I'm an open book and I'm more than happy to help anyone of any age and just be the person that if I can make someone smile, then even better. And you helped, didn't you, babe? Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for everything.
No, thank you. It was so lovely to meet you. And hopefully, we'll I'm hoping that I'm able to come over, your way soon and come to one of the camps for the girls, but we're trying to work out logistics at the moment. But yeah, it should be good.